You want a human killed? The younger voice said, incredulous. No. I heard you wrong. There's no way anyone could be that monumentally stupid. Keep that name out of your damned mouth. The older assassin's mandibles clicked in irritation. We had to abandon Blackhand after that bad deal with the Delpin Empire years ago. I don't care about any empire, the client snapped. I want you to kill a human. We don't take contracts on humans, came the sharp reply. Then I'll contract someone else, the client said. None of the other guilds in the galaxy will take the job. And even if you found an independent with a death wish, they won't finish it, not without dying or ratting you out. You can't seriously believe humans are unkillable, the assassin said. I never said they were unkillable, the client answered. They're mortal, but we don't accept contracts to kill them. Why the hell not? The client demanded. Because the only way to kill a human and live long enough to enjoy the money is to drop a neutron bomb on them from orbit. Then you take the fastest ship you can and get the hell out before the rest of humanity finds you. After that, I'd advise finding another galaxy and staying there for the rest of your miserable life. You're kidding, the client scoffed. Tell me, does the planet you come from have compulsory education? What does that have to do with anything? The assassin asked. Indulge me, the client said. Find 10 years of training kids to be as obedient as Rasian drones? Sounds about right for Governtron public education. Do they teach any history? The client pressed. Not galactic history, the assassin said. He looked at his drink, then at his companion. You remember I mentioned the Delpin Empire? Yes, the client said. Do you know what happened to them? The assassin took a long drag and then spoke slowly. Their empire collapsed because they poured too many resources into trying to tame a death world. That death world was the human cradle world. The planet didn't break the Delpin, the humans did. He set his glass down. The Delpin Empire used to rule this half of the galaxy. Hundreds of species were forced into submission. Serve or die. The council that presided over what wasn't Delpin territory could posture and beg, but they couldn't stop the Delpin war machine. System by system, the galaxy fell under the Emperor's rule, until they found a system called Sol. The humans lived on the third planet. The assassin continued. They'd only just begun exploring their own system when the Delpan arrived. Humans were divided into factions they called countries, and that fragmentation made conquest easier. Communications were jammed, and before the humans knew what hit them, Delpin legions swept across the lands. Most pre-FTL worlds surrendered in a week, he said. But those humans resisted like demons. It took a galactic standard month for the Delpin to claim dominion. At one point, the human ground forces even halted the Delpin advance, until reinforcements arrived and the last bastion fell. After that, it was administrative boredom, splitting the new slaves into work groups, assigning roles that benefited the Empire. The Delpan kept the farmers and ranchers doing what they knew best. An army marches on its stomach, as the humans later put it. A few 100,000 were shipped off-world to the mines. Those humans were unnaturally strong and durable because their world had high gravity. They were perfect for dangerous labor. The Delpin script was predictable. A year or two of brutal subjugation while the victims learned the new order. A few years of uneasy peace, then rebellions 5 to 10 years after conquest. Once uprisings were crushed, most people gave up. The humans didn't follow that script. They fell in line grudgingly at first. The Delpin were proud. They thought they'd beaten the fight out of the primates. If I must give the humans one compliment, it's this. They're natural hunters. They wait. They bide their time. They strike when the moment is right. For 20 Earth years, the humans worked, lived, and bred like prey. The Delpin didn't mind. More population meant more meat for the grinder. They even incentivized childbirth with extra rations and privileges. If a woman produced more than 4 offspring, the Delpin thought they were growing workers. They didn't realize the humans were growing an army. Many of the puppet administrators the Delpin installed were, in truth, two-faced. Half of them were fake, a public illusion of surrender, while the real governments had gone underground. Literally, hidden. Leaders continued to direct training in secret camps, night schools, and clandestine printing presses, distributing pamphlets about throwing off the yoke. They hid it all in ways the Delpin never suspected. When the Delpin war front was dozens of systems away, The Tan came. The hidden human leaders had been planning while scavenged Delpin tech was reverse engineered, and while they quietly gathered resources. The first acts were small and scattered a miner who refused to work, a rancher claiming his herd died of a mysterious disease, a factory explosion here, a production slowdown there. Then France, with its old history of rebellion, erupted into open riot, shouting "Viva Revolution." The disturbances spread. What it seemed like isolated sabotage became coordinated resistance. What in the hell does that mean? I never bothered learning human languages, the client muttered. A crate of plasma rifles went missing, the assassin said. A grav tank wouldn't start. When they popped the hood, it was stripped clean. No power cores. No anti-grav components. The Delpin leaders thought these problems beneath them, but they needed fixing, so they called in guilds like ours. Our services cost the Empire a tidy sum. The humans' homeworld, they call it dirt, I think has gravity at least 3 times the galactic average. Every agent we sent had to be fitted with a gravisit suit and then spent a week after planetfall, just getting used to the pressure. At first, we treated the rebels like ghosts. We could see the damage, to sabotage, but never the hands doing it. Patrols would be on a street, and in an instant, the people would vanish. An explosion would rock the avenue and sometimes take an agent with it. One of our operatives snapped. Angry over a friend's death, he went into some random town and started executing anyone who couldn't answer his questions. A mob turned on him after the 3rd killing and tore him apart. The Delpin refused to pay the death fee for that one. Our contract was to stop riots, not create them. The contract was going bad. Sure, we were killing humans with the surgical precision we're known for, but what good is PU can't spend? We couldn't walk the surface without heavy Delpin escort. Humans struck without warning and dissolved into the crowd. On the savannah of their Africa, a hunter led one of our agents into a trap. He was set upon by a pride of big cats. The humans had even trained their native predators to fight. The number of agents lost to the humans' canine companion species defies counting, and the less I say about the death trap they call Australia, the better. First one, regional administration went silent, then another. By the time Delpin nobles noticed, the whole planet had gone quiet. Not only on dirt anywhere humans had been transported to work showed resistance. It seemed the humans had been planting sedition among the other slave species. How they communicated across the void before they had proper ships, the gods only know. Yes, the Delpin had patrol vessels, but those patrols fell silent too. Humans had gotten spies aboard and destroyed or captured the vessels. The 2 sample ships brought back to our labs were examined without Delpin oversight, without supervision. The humans discovered the secret factories they'd been cultivating for years. Massive manufactories spitting out space dock components and starship parts. Newly uncovered launch facilities hurled thousands of tons into orbit every day. By the time light response vessels arrived, the humble fleet the humans had cobbled together with stolen Delpin tech outmatched. Then, it was hubris on the Delpin's part. Each lost response vessel was replaced by another because the Empire focused on expansion and refused to see the rot at its core. When they finally decided to withdraw a conquest fleet from the front to deal with dirt, the human world and the 3 neighboring systems had already gone silent. 10 systems out from Sol, or Sol, depending on who you ask. The conquest fleet meant not just human ships, but entire armadas raised by slave species across the region. After that defeat, the Delpin Emperor must have been terrified. His fleets were scattered across the galaxy, with humans sitting between him and his armies. An emergency recall was issued and guilds, including the Black Hand, were summoned to assist. By then, we'd already lost almost 2/3 of our members, so we refused. That refusal saved us. The humans, after decades of clandestine work, were masters at infiltrating spies and saboteurs into ranks. 7 other assassin guilds were wiped out. It was a fool's errand, no matter how fat the purse. While the Delpin consolidated, the humans spread. They struck out through the now undefended void and went to every subjugated species in the Empire, overthrowing Delpin administrators and recruiting the enslaved into their cause. Where the humans went, rebellion followed. The galaxy burned. The ineffective council in the unconquered part of the galaxy eagerly joined the uprising. Across the Empire, The oppressed threw off their chains by the trillions and raised their fists. Forge worlds still churned out ships and still raised crops and livestock. But now for the new galactic alliance. Not for the Delpin. Cut off from the supply lines that kept them running, the Empire's internal strife deepened. Conquest fleets left the capital and never made it more than a dozen systems. The Delpin collapse, in short, was their own doing. They overreached, and the humans, patient as hunters, turned their moment into a war for everything. When the Allied fleets finally struck Delpin space, the humans hit like lightning and vanished into the dark. The Delpin never managed to pin them down in a straight fight. For months the Delpin legions were bled dry. Ambushes, false distress calls, EMP mines hidden in wreckage clouds. Nothing was beneath the humans if it meant destroying the enemy. When the Allied armada breached Delpin Prime, they found a starving, fractured fleet tearing itself apart. The human admiral hailed the scattered flotilla. Faced with the sheer scale of the armada, Delpin captains surrendered on the spot. The rebellion ended in 3 brutal years. Then the humans deployed their most vicious weapon. Lawyers. They hauled the Delpin emperor from his throne. Nobles, administrators, lash holders, anyone who had oppressed a sentient being, were rounded up and marched through what passed for our modern courts. It was more civilized than Delpin justice, where the accused were brought before the emperor, charges read, and then executed without defense. By the time the trials ended, the emperor was dead of old age, and his successor forced to acknowledge and right the wrongs done to the galaxy. The Delpin Empire was broken. Only a scattering of systems in the far southern arm remained under Delpin control. Many feared the humans would turn and conquer the galaxy themselves. Instead, within a year of surrender, they dismantled more than half their fleet and dispersed the rest across the stars for pirate hunting and peacekeeping. They had no interest in empire building. Our guild was lucky. The humans recognized that we'd broken our contract and let us live, but not without consequences. The Black Hand was permanently broken. They whittled us down to 1/3 of our former strength before the rebellion even left their homeworld. Once the top assassin guild in the galaxy, we became a loose association of independent agents. So listen, young one. We done to kill humans. Kill a human, and their family will hunt you. Kill a family, and the species will hunt you. If their lawyers get you, you'll be lucky. You may even be forced to die by your own people as an apology. I had no idea, the client said. It's painfully obvious, the assassin replied, brows lowering. I'm not one to pry. But what did this human do to offend you? He insulted my broodmate. The assassin barked a laugh. Is that all? Insult him back. If it matters so much, punch him. But don't ask us to kill. You said we don't take human contracts. And that's true. Those apes love to fight with words as much as fists. You've a better chance surviving an argument than surviving our kind of work. You think they'd apologize? The client asked. They might. Humans are monsters in battle and demons when wronged, but they're not savage. They rebuilt the council into something that holds the chair today. They're firm, but fair. Their courts and governance will likely stand for generations. The assassin drained his glass and set it down, watching the last drops catch the light. My cup's empty, unless you want a refill. I think we're done here. The client tried one last time, whispering the word that had started it all. What's the target, a human? The assassin's mandibles clicked, a small, weary sound. We don't kill humans.